Hi folks, and welcome to week 1 of the module. This week and next week, as explained in the module site, are both online. The intention of that is to give you some space just to think about your intended projects, think about what you're going to focus on before we come in and actually start talking about the processes, the technicalities of developing a learning contract and engaging in the system of work-based learning. So this week, what I want you to think about is what it is exactly that you intend to focus your time on. What is it about your work, your skills at work, or practice in the workplace that you want to develop that's going to be the focus of your project. Now, I use focus quite a lot, and that is deliberately, because it's very important that we know exactly what you're going to do. The agreement that we have is between myself as module leader and you as an individual student. So it's not a whole group or a whole class activity. This is very much about each student individually and what it is they intend to learn about, what skills or what knowledge they intend to develop. So in saying that, what I want you to think about is if you take this area of your practice, for example, it may be that you have recently changed departments, or you may be only a year or two qualified, and there are aspects of practice in your workplace that you want to develop and you want to learn more about. There may be a new procedure that's been introduced in your area. I know we have some students from Ambulance Academy, so there may well be some of the standard operating procedures. There may be some clinical practice that's identified in GR Calc that you want to really understand in a bit more depth. So once you've identified that, what I want you to do is try and identify 3 or 4 objectives within that overall heading. 3 or 4, if you were to break that topic down, 3 or 4 topics within that larger topic. So if you think about writing objectives, I assume most of you will have heard of SMART objectives. Now, SMART objectives, it's a really good approach to take to help you nail specific or name or develop objectives that you're able to achieve. So have a wee look at SMART objectives. If you put it in any search engine, you'll come up with not a full explanation, but very basically, the S stands for specific. So make sure that each of these objectives are specific, that there's no room for saying, well, what do you mean by that? Yeah, so you're quite specific about the objective. The M stands for measurable. So is it something that you're going to be able to say at some point, I've achieved that, I've met that objective? Or the danger with some objectives is that there doesn't seem to really be an end point. If they're not specific enough, there's no end point, and it's difficult to identify when you've met them. A stands for achievable. So make sure it is something. We only have 12, 13 weeks to work through this module for most of you if you're doing a 10 or 20 point module. So you have 12 or 13 weeks. So don't be setting out to change the world or change practice in your clinical area. Remember that the purpose of this module is to gain you academic credit. So make sure your objectives are achievable. R is realistic, and again, very similar to achievable, but are they realistic objectives? Do they relate to practice or to this aspect of practice that you're looking at? So again, don't be expecting to achieve too much. So make sure that what you set yourself is realistic. And T stands for time bound. So within the 12 or 13 weeks that you have, are you going to be able to achieve these? Are you going to be able to write down on a piece of paper by week 7, I will have delivered that objective, and by week 8, I will deliver that objective? Because remember, if you're going to write these things down, yeah, you don't realise the objectives, you don't deliver the objectives week 12 or 13. Yeah, you deliver the objectives before that so that you can write them up. Okay, so look to have objectives that you're realistically going to be able to write up between weeks 9 and 13. Give yourself a good 4 weeks to write up. And that's my next advice. Don't worry too much about writing up at the moment. It's more important that you explore a realistic topic, develop a learning contract, and understand the best way for you to learn about that. Okay, and these are things that we'll look at in subsequent weeks. But this week really is about considering a topic that you have, and there's an activity. The week 1 activity sets out a series of questions about what work-based learning is and how it's going to be achieved. Again, do what you can to complete that table, but give it some thought. It's more important that you think that through fairly thoroughly than it is. There are no correct answers, or there are some more correct than others, but it's not going to be marked. It's really just for feedback and further discussion. Okay, so week 1, the focus is what it is that you're going to learn about. Okay, what you're going to identify. Yeah, is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? And is it time bound? Are you going to be able to do it in the 12 or 13 weeks? Okay, set yourself something too big that soon becomes apparent you're not going to achieve it, and then people really start to panic. Okay, so I'm sorry I can't be. I'm out of country at the moment. I'll be back on Monday. But in between times, I'm still checking my email. So if you want to get in touch with me, please do. I'm also happy to arrange a video call if someone wants to speak to me, or a member of the group, a member of the class want to speak to me. We'll set up a conference call that you can all log into. But please keep in touch. Have a look at week 1, see what you can do. Any questions, get in touch with me. Yeah, and we'll see what we can do from there. Okay, I hope you enjoy it, guys. It's a fabulous way of learning. I'm a real fan of it, and I hope you will be too by the end of the module. Okay, cheers.